What's going on, hybrid shooters? It's Jason Vong, and these are the accessories that I personally use with my Sony ZV-E1. But really, I use them with any Sony cameras. Now, I'll be starting off with some must-haves first, and then get into some optional accessories that can really enhance your workflow while including more affordable alternatives when possible. But before we begin, just a friendly reminder. Please shop responsibly. I am not held liable if your significant other starts yelling at you. But really though, assess the items that are presented in this video, or any video for that matter, and see if they fit into your workflow right at this moment. If they do not, please do not buy. Alright, these are the 3 essential things you will need. An SD card, an extra battery, and a charger. Let's start with the SD card first. There will be 2 kinds that I will recommend. A good SD card and a high-end type SD card, 64GB minimum. So first, a good SD card would be a V30 type if you're shooting 1080p HD or 4K 8-bit. And my brand of choice would be the SanDisk Extreme Pro V30. They're not terribly expensive. You can nab a 64GB one for around $15 and even a 128GB one for around $25. Now, when it comes to buying from Amazon, make sure to check that it's shipped and sold by Amazon to minimize the risk of getting a counterfeit card. Moving on, a high-end type SD card will be a V90 for 4K 10-bit 422, especially in the XAVC SI codec. A lot of data is being recorded in this mode, so you need a fast card to keep up. This 128GB SanDisk V90 will do. Now these cards look very similar, so pay attention to the number on the label and make sure that you're getting a V90. For me personally, I use the Sony G Tough cards because they are tough cards. They can be dropped, run over, or even fall in the water and they would still work. Now, how would you know you will need to be shooting in 10-bit or SI? Only if you'll be shooting in S-Log 3 and will be heavily color grading your footage. For extra batteries, I am personally using the official Sony ones. However, you can get third-party ones if you want to. They're a great way to save a bit of money, but if you can't snag official Sony batteries, that would be the best. I've been using a couple of these since 2018 and they've held up. I haven't had to buy new batteries since, whereas some of the third-party ones I used to own, like Wasabi, don't end up holding their charge a year later. However, your mileage may vary. Moving on to the charger, while you can charge via USB-C, it's nice to have a dedicated charger. I personally have the official Sony one. Some of their flagship cameras still come with a dedicated charger, so I've just been using that. But I also found this portable charging box by JYJZPB, which not only holds and charges your battery in the case, but it can also in turn use the batteries inside to charge your phone. And I can't tell you how many times that I've thought of this idea when I'm out on the road, coming back from a long wedding shoot, relying on the GPS on my phone that's barely hanging on to the last 15%. But for whatever reason, I would still have fully charged camera batteries. Looks like this company beat me to inventing it. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. Okay, I'm low-key fuming, but this thing is awesome. Just make sure to get the one for Sony and not for Canon like I accidentally did the first time around. God, such a stupid mistake. Up next is a screen protector. Now this isn't a must-have per se, since you can just close the screen to protect it, but I like to keep my camera as ready as possible so I don't miss the moment and the shot. And that means having the display already flipped out. And when it's flipped out like that, you do run the risk of scratching it. Moving on to some of the optional accessories. Now in terms of audio, the E1 has better onboard mic compared to most cameras out there. And with most major editing softwares now have better processors to isolate voice and minimize noise, you likely can just get away using the onboard mic on the ZV-E1. For audio level, I keep it as default 26. However, at the end of the day, nothing beats a dedicated mic, and the one that I like to use is the Sony Digital Shotgun Mic, the ECM B10. It's cableless and it attaches right on top of your camera. Usually auto does the job well enough, but I personally like to have it on manual and on 5. Go ahead and copy the back of my mic right here. There's also a noise canceling toggle that helps minimizes the noise around you, especially if you're vlogging on a busy street. If it's too pricey of an option for you, there's also the Rode Video Micro, which I've recommended for years now, $60, nice and tiny, or the Deity D4 Mini, which I haven't personally used myself, but comes highly recommended by Caleb from DSLR video shooters. But unlike the Sony, these will require you to connect through the 3.5mm audio jack. For audio level, I would have these on 15. But besides shotgun mic, what would be slightly better is using a wireless lav mic, and these are meant to be on you so it's closest to the audio source, therefore giving your video better audio quality. So the ones I've been using for nearly a year now is the DJI mic. It's what I personally use to film our travel show, which you should totally check out, by the way. Stay till the end for the trailer. But these are great. They can be clipped on or magnetically attached to your clothes. They come with wind muffs to minimize wind noise, and not only does it record wirelessly to your camera and onto your footage via the transmitter, but also can record internally up to 15 hours, which I take advantage greatly when we film our travel show. And the case here also acts like an external battery pack that recharges your mics. This is a really great kit, pricey, but in my opinion, worth every penny. For a less expensive alternative, the Rode Go 2 is a solid option, though in comparison to the DJI, it does have some slight inconvenient quirks. Moving on to support accessories. We'll start off with the Peak Design strap. God, I've been recommending this for as long as this YouTube channel has been alive. Like what, 7, 8 years now? Jeez, but simply, it's the best strap out there for strap haters. Like myself. Okay, let me explain. You see, neck straps are a fine way to transport your camera and be ready on the go to take your shot. But when you're taking your shot, the strap, more often than not, always gets in the way and you're constantly having to move it and adjust it around and do this awkward wrap like you're ready to go boxing or something. Especially if you're using the one that comes default with your camera. Those are a pain to put on and take off. The Peak Design strap, however, have these clip-on anchors that allow you to quickly attach and detach the strap. So if you're gonna be filming for a while in an area, you can remove the strap, pocket it away, and shoot freely. Moving on to the Peak Design clip. It's another item that I've been using for 7 to 8 years now. You put this plate on the bottom of your camera and it clips onto your backpack or sling. So if I'm carrying a backpack, I won't be using a strap. I'll be using the clip. If I'm using a backpack, then I'll be using the strap. I know clipping it onto this thing may seem scary at first, but I've been using this for 7 to 8 years now and never had an issue of it falling off. Moving on to tripods. If you're just filming indoors and you don't need the video heads that do the silky smooth pans and tilts, honestly, any tripods will do. The Amazon basic ones are just fine. The one that I'm using literally right now is a Panasonic brand, and I bought it used at a Japanese camera store for 200 yen. 200 yen, that's less than $1.50 US. It's for the stationary talking headshot anyway, so I don't need anything fancy, and it frees up my other tripod that I can take with me while I'm out traveling without having to always strike down this entire YouTube set and having to set up again once I'm back. But a couple of pro tips for you: add quick release systems. Since I'm using the Peak Design plate for the Peak Design clip, the plate is actually Arca Swiss, which means it's generally widely adaptable with systems that also support Arca Swiss types. This small rig piece that I have here allows me to adapt any Arca Swiss type plates. So instead of having to remove my Peak Design plate and screw on a different tripod plate every time, the quick release system allows me to attach and detach my setup quickly. Now, what if you shoot a lot of vertical videos? Then I would recommend an L bracket, and the one that I personally use is from 3-Legged Things. I like it. It's Sony orange, and it's also Arca Swiss compatible. Now, my favorite mini tripod, the vlogging tripod, would be the Manfrotto Pixie, and I've been using this for years as well. Slap on a quick release plate and boom, you're ready to go. Moving on to gimbals. While Sony introduced dynamic active stabilization, which is insanely helpful in a pinch, it does crop into your footage significantly. If you want to retain as much resolution as possible, especially if you're using an ultra wide angle lens, then a gimbal is the way to go. And my recent favorite is the DJI RS3 Mini. Lightweight and small, but powerful gimbal. It can support a 24-70 f2.8 G master lens setup. But if you know you'll be using only small, tiny lenses and want to save a bit of money, look into the Zhiyun Crane M3. I've used this one for about a year now and have shot a lot of my travel videos with it. Now, for those of you who are looking for a monitor solution, one device that came out within the last year that really changed the game is the Axoon Simo, which basically turns your smartphone into an external monitor. And with how good and bright the displays are on some of these flagship phones, it's worth considering this over some of the more dedicated monitors out there. It offers a lot of the same basic monitoring features that you would normally find, and the latency is super minimal. And if you need a bigger display than your 6-inch phone, you can also detach the module and connect it to a bigger tablet as well. Now, if you plan on getting this, I highly recommend getting the Sony NP-F battery because this one is rechargeable via USB-C, saves you from having to buy another dedicated charger just to charge these damn bricks. Oh, and make sure to pick up a micro HDMI to HDMI cable, and it's important that you get the micro HDMI and not mini HDMI. Two very different connections. Trust me on it. And finally, some miscellaneous items. A blow duster, a microfiber cloth, and some Zeiss wipes. Now some would argue that these should be considered a must-have, and I do agree. Keep your lenses clean, people. Wouldn't want to see these dust in your footage now, would you? But I want to end this video with a portable LED light. No matter how good any camera is in low light, especially the E1, if you can shine a light on something, it will 1000 times make your shot look better. And a really good one that I can highly recommend is the Aperture Amaran MC. These are tiny but powerful, especially in the dark. Plus, they are magnetic. And because of that, it has saved me in many situations where I don't have an extra pair of hands to help me hold the light, but I can find a pole to stick one of these on. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more helpful videos from me, there are several ways to support the channel. One, via a super thanks, but the one I would prefer you to do is to watch my travel series, free right now on YouTube. It's essentially how things go wrong when we try to get amazing photo and video samples for this channel. It is a highly produced TV show disguised as a behind the scenes vlog, and there are currently 3 episodes right now. Link is right up here where the eye is. But here you go, here's the trailer. Let's go. Well, hello there, hybrid shooters. You know, on this channel, we do a lot of camera-related reviews, right? Producing countless photo and video tutorials on top of that. And to get these amazing and unique samples, you know we do a lot of traveling. Lots of traveling. But what you don't know is the pain and suffering that goes on during those travels. Well, that is about to change. So join us as we battle against the crowds, the clouds, and the cows in our brand new photography mini-series, Travel Gone Vong.
Travel Gone Vong.
Jason's breaking down. Oh no.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Thank you so much for watching the trailer. To further support this channel, just simply stick around and listen to what my sponsor Squarespace has to say. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to create beautiful websites. No coding knowledge whatsoever. Perfect for people like me because I just want to make YouTube videos for you guys and not have to worry about coding my entire website. Simply just select one of their templates to get started. Every aspect is easily customizable with their drag and drop feature. Whether you're in need of a portfolio, an e-commerce store, or even a simple blog, design it with Squarespace. Use my link down below to test it out, and when you're ready to launch your first website or domain, use my code JasonVong to save 10% off. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!